and we look over, and Will Ferrell and Trevor Noah are like sitting in the corner. Yeah, Champions League final was sick, man. That was probably the best week of my entire life for so many different reasons, but the Champions League final was up there. Like, I have probably a million crazy stories from that, but yeah, that was insane.
I was gonna say, you got to do a live stream with a few players too, right? Beforehand, weren't you with like Rio Ferdinand? I can't remember some of the other players, but I saw most of it.
Wasn't Pulisic around?
Pulisic was not at that one. That one, so the Champions League final, I went with PlayStation, and they invited me out, +1, flew us out there, and like 2 or 3 days before the final, they rented this massive townhouse in Paris, like 4-story townhouse, and they had a bunch of creators there and a bunch of icons, like former pro footballers. So day one, I get there, and this is like surreal for me. So I guess I should backtrack. While flying there, I go from Cincinnati, I land in New York for my connecting flight to Paris, and I'm sitting at an airport bar in JFK, New York Airport, watching my subscriber count, and I hit 1 million subscribers in this airport bar
No
in
way.
New York. So I have no one with me to celebrate. So I'm like, give me a shot, take a shot by myself, just in the New York airport, hop on a flight, land in Paris. So crazy start to the trip already. We get to this house, right? And there are just a ton of icons there. So Rio Ferdinand was there, Roberto Carlos was there, Kaká was there, Claude Makelele was there. And I had like kind of no idea what I was going to do. So as soon as I get there, they're like, yeah, in 2 hours, you're going to be playing FIFA against Rio Ferdinand. I'm like, what? Like, like what is happening? So they take us down. They like do my makeup and everything. Huge professional setup. It's me. It's Rio Ferdinand. Champions League trophies there. We play a game of FIFA. He beats me. But it was...
He beat you?
Yeah, he beat me, man. I'm actually not that great at FIFA. Like, people who watch me probably know, like, I'm a menu guy, right? Like, I'm all right at FIFA.
There's no way he's that good at FIFA.
He's not that good.
I don't know,
He's
man.
not
Isn't
that
he
good.
like 40?
To my defense, like, they hand you an iPad and like I'm playing him and also like interviewing him at the same time. So that's gonna be my like cop out. Like, I had to interview him as well, but I still should have beat him, right? Whatever.
Do you remember what the score was?
I think it was 1-0. It's funny because it was 1-0, and that ended up being the same score during the Champions League final. And also when I asked him like what predictions, like his predictions for the match, he's like, Courtois is going to have an insane game. Courtois keeps a clean sheet. Courtois wins man of the match. And that's exactly what happened. So that clip like went super viral after. But yeah, that was awesome. Get to meet all these icons. But then the Champions League final was amazing. So we take a bus from our hotel to the stadium, and if for some context here, this is in Paris, and it was supposed to be the Champions League final. I believe it was supposed to be in Russia, but obviously with everything that happened, it's like they had to move it right, like last minute. So they move it to Paris, and they were not prepared for this. Security was terrible. We hop out of the bus, and as soon as we hop out, there's like 10 people behind us trying to pickpocket us. Like,
no way.
I'm like hands in my pocket, like making sure no one steals anything. If you know, his name's Thogden. He's another football creator. He was there with me. Yeah. His friend got like his phone and ticket stolen. Yeah, it was nuts. So we finally make it in though, and we're in like the hospitality VIP area, right? Awesome. Like I wasn't expecting any of this. So we're walking down like the red carpet or whatever. We finally get to like the PlayStation had their own like separate like area within that, and they're like one of the main sponsors of the Champions League. So we get to the PlayStation tent in the hospitality, and we look over, and Will Ferrell and Trevor Noah are like sitting in the corner, and I'm like, first off, like Will Ferrell's like the GOAT. Like Will Ferrell, like my family like grew up just watching Will Ferrell movies, so like he is like, I don't know. For me, he's like one of the top like celebrities, actors of all time. I'm just freaking out that I'm there. So I'm with Mike LaBelle as well, and Mike knows Trevor Noah. So he's like, "You want to go talk to Trevor Noah?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we walk over, start chatting. Trevor Noah like loves FIFA. He starts telling me about like how he's like 29-1 in weekend league, and we had like a 5-minute chat. So then everyone kind of starts to filter out into the stadium. And that was like while we were talking to Trevor Noah. So we kind of just start like leaving. And I'm like walking out with like Trevor Noah and Will Ferrell's right behind me. So I'm like, I have to say something to Will Ferrell, right?
Have to.
So he's the owner of LAFC, the football club. And I turn around, I'm like, hey man, like big fan of what you're doing with LAFC. He's like, oh, thanks, man. Kind of like blows me off, pushes me to the side. I'm like, all right. I got to talk to Will Ferrell. That's
Don't
all
meet
that
your
I needed,
heroes,
right?
dude. That's what they say, bro.
Yeah.
You don't say that.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I got to meet Will Ferrell. It's so cool. So we start walking into the stadium and we're like walking in with Will Ferrell and Trevor Noah. It's like, what is happening? I take like this video when we get into the stadium and like, just like, it's wild because I'm just taking a video and I look back, it's like just panning past Trevor Noah. Like, it's not even, I wasn't even trying to take a video of him, but he's just like in the background of my videos. So we get to our seats, like 6 rows from the pitch. And I'm so hyped. I'm freaking out. I've never done anything like this before. So we sit down, we're kind of waiting for things to happen, right? So we get there. Next thing you know, I get a tap on my shoulder, and Will Ferrell is right behind me and taps me on my shoulder, and he goes, "So you're a big fan of LAFC, man?" And like starts a conversation with me. I'm like, "What is happening?"
No way.
Yeah, dude. So we talked for like 5 minutes. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like I'm a big
shit.
yeah." I'm like, "I'm a big fan of like MLS. Da 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 da. I'm from Cincinnati." Blank. I have no idea what I said after that, but we talked for a few minutes. I didn't want to ask for a picture because like I felt like I was like I wanted to feel like I belonged there, right?
The conversation.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's cooler to have a conversation than to ask for a photo, for sure.
For sure.
100%. I still didn't want to ask for one. My girlfriend's like, "Can we get a selfie?" I'm like, "All right, good." I didn't want to do it, so you did.
Oh, your girlfriend just asked?
Yeah. So we have this picture. Maybe you can pop it up. It's like me, my girlfriend, and Will Ferrell, and we all have sunglasses on. It's like it's so good, man.
That's so badass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, like later, like right before the game started too, Trevor Noah was like, "Hey man, like, can I borrow your portable charger?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, take it." Like, wild.
You sign
man.
it, bro. That's what I was saying.
Frame that fucking charger now, bro. What do you
Yeah. That was like one of the craziest things that has happened. Yeah, the game was an average game, but it wasn't even about the match at that point. Like, in all my clips, we recorded our reactions. Like Will Ferrell's just in the background, like, see all his reactions and stuff too. Oh yeah. Also, like Owen Wilson showed up and was right next to Will Ferrell. So
we were spawning these people out of nowhere.
Owen Wilson like, spawns in, and I gave him a fist bump, but he wasn't. He didn't really seem like he was trying to chat or anything. But it was funny because like we're watching the game and you can kind of hear them talking, and they're just having like normal conversations. Like Owen's like, "Oh, like, so how are your kids doing?" And Will Ferrell's like, "Oh yeah, like they're playing soccer right now, going to watch them, play their game." Like it was wild. So that was like my top moment of the year. Yeah,
that's
so
hard
dope.
to top, man. I don't know. That's pretty like that story is like pretty money. I wouldn't be able to top that shit in my 21 years. I don't.
Bro, it was crazy. Super grateful for that. I've got to do a lot more with PlayStation since then. Yeah, thank you, PlayStation.